leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss. Now you counting stars. Should've practiced more. Should've hit the mask, get out there more. Saying that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Yo, shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and game, man. A-Side official, no negotiation needed, period. You already know we back in the building. It's a Tuesday. Man, big shout out to the supporters. And I understand, I get it. Y'all probably wondering why I'm talking about this guy. Hold on for a second. This guy, Jaron Ennis, once again, you know. Hold up for a second, man. Why is it doing that? We need to get some things clarified, man. We do. We need to get some understanding. Okay, we're back. So I want to continue to emphasize something that I feel that I was clerically correct in months and months ago about Ennis. Once again, I don't dislike this dude as a person because I don't know him. But I do believe at the youthful age of 28, he's going through some situations where he's trying his best to portray this role or put on this persona or facade, in my opinion, on playing this character where he wants people to despise him. Ennis has never been in the spotlight enough for his fans to gravitate to him to see if he was a good guy or a bad guy. He's just haven't been out like that. He hasn't been in enough online spats. He hasn't been out here long enough fight for fight and talking. He says the same thing before the fight, after the fight. He always act like he needs to turn around and get somebody else to co-sign or throw a little, verbal jab in there, at another fighter. He said when he got the belt from Crawford, he was going to step on him. He's going to step on the competition. It's over. That's his words. It's over. I'm going to step on him. But as we've seen in recent, it just haven't been the case. If you're telling me that this guy is supposed to be somehow the future pound for pound number one, I'm not sure how we're supposed to navigate that. How are we supposed to navigate a guy who is pretty much showing us that the only time we're going to know who he is when he has a fight coming up. And depending on who the interviewer is, he shows interest. He's one of the worst fighters in the game to interview. That's why I heard someone say it so eloquently. They said that YSM is the one, that's better off to interview him because anybody outside of the media parameters of YSM Sports, I don't think Boots feel comfortable. I don't think he feel comfortable enough to answer the tough questions. That's all I'm saying. The way I look at the way boxing is mixing it up, the old guard on the exit and the intro brings in the new guard. As a black fighter, it's hard to say that, Tank, of course, Tank he's still up there. As a black fighter, we have to analyze the landscape just a little bit closer than usual because we have some big names. You know, Floyd went out the picture. You know, we're talking about in these middle divisions. We're looking at Crawford about to head out. We don't know exactly what Spence is going to do. We don't know what the Charlos are going to do. Like, where's the next black superstar is going to come from? Now, when you talk about the engine, because the engine is supposedly what makes the car progress forward, right? It's supposed to put some movement in there, right? The engine is match room for Jaron Ennis. The vehicle that will get him to a certain area in his boxing career that we're looking for is match room. Eddie Hearns, I'm not sure if he's absolutely certain or confident, sure of Jaron Ennis being the next best star, but it's his due diligence, it's his effort, his words, because he's one of the best in the game that can speak Jaron Ennis up to any fight next. But as fight fans, we are pretty much past the threshold of frustration. We have exceeded and exhausted the threshold of frustration. The reason why that threshold has been breached is because of the two Karens, the Avanesians, the Stantiones. I mean, when you talk about from the Ramon Villa, has it really changed outside of Stantiones? I mean, Karen showed that he can go the distance, but what does that say about Boots? Was it Karen being a better fighter than we thought, or Boots being a lesser fighter than we initially assumed? That's my question. AB, what's good? What's good? Haynes Legacy in the building. What's good, fam? Blessings to you, big dog. Appreciate you pulling up. Is that something that we are to assume, that Boots might have been a lower tier fighter that fought pretty much to the level of Koran? Is Koran and Boots really truly that close together on the level when it comes to star status? Because you're talking about a fighter who went the distance with Boots twice, and we really don't know what's next for him. But this live is not about that. It's just, if you're looking at Boots' last fight, Karen stands out. Stantiones stands out. Lima is a little spot on a white suit for all the wrong reasons, because he never should have fought Uis Malima. People are saying it was the spotlight. He wasn't quite acclimated over here to the U.S. He was scared. He was this. We've seen fighters come over here for the first time and show out. We've seen fighters come over here for the first time and show out. It wasn't like it was a huge Allegiant Stadium. It was just, now we have people trying to provide the general public with excuses that Lima just couldn't handle the bright lights. Lima was in there on his 16th professional fight, 14th professional win with one loss. And you're telling me Ennis should have stepped in there with somebody like that in his backyard and finishes him, right? He was cracked, finished the dude in the first round. Well, clearly, majority of those shots didn't land. And we'll have to say to ourselves, what again? You're touting him to be the next pound for pound number one? I beg to differ. The same fighter that was on your card before, people will come see him before they come see you any day of the week. Jess Van Rodriguez. You remember when WCS said Jess Rodriguez will only be there to boost Jaron Ennis up once? Once. He's too big. He can't be Jaron Ennis's co-main event ever. Ever again. Jess Rodriguez can't do that. Two different fighters, but they fought on the same card. Let me go over here and remove this and get to this article that was written. Okay? It say, is Jaron Ennis a future pound for pound number one? All right. After becoming, and this is via Boxing News 24, after becoming the unified world champion and proving that he was the best welterweight in the world, Jaron Ennis decided to move up in weight. And judging by his recent callouts, Ennis is focused on making a run to the top of the pound for pound list. On the night of October 11th at the Infinity Mobile Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Jaron Ennis walked into the ring with the intent of making a statement. At the conclusion of the scheduled 12-round bout, Ennis made a statement that was loud and clear. Back in April 24, hold up, y'all. I've been getting this lately by visiting only this site. Hold on for a second. Okay, hold on. On that particular night, Ennis was working part-time as he stopped David Avanesian in the 5th round. Boots Ennis would go on to have another successful title defense when he defeated Jaron by the way of unanimous decision. When Ennis was scheduled to face WBA World Welterweight Champion Stanionis, many assumed that the bout would be a legitimate test. Jaron Ennis passed the test with ease as he stopped Stanionis in the 6th round and became the unified WBA welterweight world champion. After proving he was the best in the welterweight division, Ennis moved up to 154 pounds, where he was set to face Usman Lima. Based on his aggression and volume punching, Lima thought he had a chance to score the upset and formally introduce himself to the mainstream. I don't know where anyone received that type of energy that Lima was out here trying to introduce himself to the mainstream. He was going to get the upset. It says, unfortunately, for Lima, the singing of the national anthem lasted longer than the fight. In the opening round, the switch hitter, Boots Ennis, was in the orthodox stance. With 2 minutes and 2 seconds remaining in the 1st round, the problem started for Lima when Ennis switched to southpaw. Ennis landed a big right uppercut, followed by a 3-punch combination, and sent Lima down to the canvas. Lima was able to get up, and when the match continued, Ennis landed a flurry of punches and sent Lima back to the canvas. Once again, Lima was able to get up, and once again, he got hit by a flurry of hard shots, false, which forced referee to step in and put a halt to the contest. With the victory, Jaron Ennis 35-0, 31 knockouts, made a successful debut at 154 pounds while winning the WBA junior middleweight interim title, y'all. That was for an interim title. We're going to get to that nonsense. So let's just highlight something right quick. People speak about boxing and how, it can be kind of like calligraphy a little bit, like trying to write calligraphy, trying to figure everything out, just like cursive. A lot of kids these days, they don't teach in school how to write cursive. But when you talk about fighting someone like Lima for the WBA interim championship, that belt right there has proven to us that it doesn't matter what the opposition, what the matchup can be. It's not really that serious. It's all about the sanctioning body, finagling, and completing some paperwork. And that's how it's going to go down. I tell people all the time that support the sport, don't let it irritate you to the point where you're stressing about something you can't change. Man, you're not going to change these. The hell they want, when they want, how they want. That's just the way it's always going to be. The article goes on to say, during the post-fight, Jaron Ennis shared his junior middleweight hit list. Ennis called out Ennis called out Virgil Ortiz, Jamel Charlo, WBO World Champion Xander Zayas, WBC World Champion Sebastian Fundora, and IBF World Champion Bakram Murtazalaya. Jaron Ennis is a generational talent who has all the tools. He has a high ring IQ, athleticism, speed, power, excellent punch placement. Ennis is currently the prime of his career, and he's ready to chase greatness. I find that to be a farce right now. Boxing, both Ennis and his promoter, Eddie Hearn, predict Ennis will make a run that will propel him to the top of the pound-for-pound list during the post-fight interview. Eddie Hearn elaborated on his confidence and boost. I'm telling you, he's 28 years of age. It's the future of the sport of boxing, Hearn said. Hearn said that. This is what Hearn's saying. This is the future of the sport of boxing. This is the pound-for-pound number one in waiting. There's nobody at 54-60, and dare I say 68, who can beat this guy. We're coming for everybody, one man included, but we got to earn that right. In closing, with Ennis by his side, Hearn went on to say Virgil Ortiz will get destroyed by Jaron Ennis. I would bet the house on it with Oscar De La Hoya. It's the best fight in boxing in America. It's a beautiful fight. He's a great fighter, but this guy is another level. Do you agree? Do you agree that what Eddie is trying to sell to the public? You know, do you think that's credible on what Eddie's saying, or do you just look at it like, hey, that's what he's supposed to do? His mouthpiece is supposed to somehow, some way, generate interest from the public. But do you believe he's just basically highlighting his fighter in Ennis to just build up? Or is Eddie Hearns at a point right now where the fight fans are saying, hey, we heard this before time and time again. We're not convinced. Your fighter Ennis is 35-0, 31 knockouts. And we just don't know. We just don't know if he's that guy. He left the welterweight division prematurely, in my opinion. But if they say they had weight issues and it was time for them to move up, they moved up and fought a guy that, you know, you could have fought at the catch weight or something. I mean, seriously, like, if it wasn't for the title shot, you know, I don't knock the fighter for maneuvering them ways up to a title shot, okay? Because we've seen several fighters do it. I don't mind, but to receive a title at 47 via email, to fight a marginal champion in Stantionis, then to go up here and fight a guy like Lima, it's quite puzzling how the public is supposed to respect that. Like, you fought for a title, an interim title, of a fighter that's not even on your stratosphere. He's not even on your stratosphere, yo. And this happened. This will happen once again in Philadelphia. You have 35 professional wins, and your opponent barely breaks the halfway mark, close to the halfway mark of Jaron Ennis' resume. You know, the amount of experience that he got. But this was for a title, y'all. Truth be told, this was for a title. And to be honest with you, I just think his boxing fight code has suffered tremendously over the last several fights that he had. People want to wipe away the criticism that Bud was getting when he was coming up from 40 to 47. They criticized that man over and over again. His resume definitely looked better than Ennis's right now, right? But he moved up and fought Jeff Horn, and Jeff Horn is better than anybody on Jaron Ennis's resume. Period. Jeff Horn is better than anybody on Ennis's resume. Then to go through a knockout streak and continue to remain unblemished But to have a fighter like Ennis say he's been looking for Crawford since 2018, I'm trying everything possible to gather confidence and say, you know what, how can I naturally, genuinely support Jaron Ennis as a fighter and believe my support for him as a fighter, that he'll get the job done. When I supported Deontay Wilder and Crawford, I believe every bit of it. Even one time, Teofimo Lopez. You know what I'm saying? Jahad Tucker, Jess Rodriguez. I believe these hardcore fighters. I mean, these fighters who are, rock with heavy. I believe wholeheartedly in heavy that they can get it done. And of course, El Chinchecker. El Chinchecker, he's not a part of this conversation, right? Because I have heard people attempt to say that somehow he's doing the exact same thing that Boots is doing. Boots is doing the exact same thing Tank is doing. That's not the case. Let's stop that. Let's stop acting like we have speech impediments, man. That's somehow bleeding over to our thought process up top. Stop that. We have to look at Ennis's next moves, and we really have to say, do we trust his word, Eddie's word, that he's going to fight somebody to the likes of Virgil Ortiz? Or are they going to just go up there and fight the guy who reminded me of Tucker Clark? The guy who was pretty much in the same situation before he came over here and fought for the first time. But he didn't look like he was scared of the bright lights at all. But you have a guy that gets a belt. He's a very new, I'm talking about a very new face in the division. He's not a familiar name like a Fundora, Marcus Alayev. He's not that guy. But am I going to feel some type of way because he's going up there and taking somewhat of a soft route to the belt? No, I don't care. And Xander Zayas. Come on, does Xander Zayas take a route like this up to get a belt? Hell no. But Eddie Hearns is doing what he's supposed to do by maneuvering Boots into position to fight for a title. I have no qualms with that. It's just, to me, I don't believe this guy ever be pound for pound number one unless the competition is scarce and boxing becomes dormant. Like if we was to go through another pandemic stage, that's the only way. I don't see it. It's too many names out there that I would put ahead of Ennis being number one. It's too many names. And then when are we going to consistently see Ennis fight top tier competition? Will we ever see him in another rematch outside of Karen with tough competition? That's a question I have. We can't get him in two straight fights with tough competition. We can't get him in two tough fights, yo. I mean, goddamn. They want to talk about how he switched to southpaw on a Lima? On a plate of beans, you switched to southpaw for what? It wasn't like you was in there with Kell Brook. Why you had to switch to southpaw on a guy like that? He didn't present you with any type of challenge where you said, oh man, I have to go into my bag of tricks. What? No, sir. No, stop. There's individuals out here with the belief of certainty that Boots beats Norman Jr. However, they ish on that fight. I was hoping a fight at 147, some type of spark. I was hoping to turn into a fire, but it never did. These little SOS signals that they put out over social media, acting like, oh man, he's really not that good. That's when I heard Boots say that he's really not that good for real. I said, man, he's not gonna fight him. I mean, who says that? You say he's really not that good. for real. I mean, he tends to hate on, hate on these fighters that he should have fought. You want to go around and boast about people saying that Crawford ducked you, but clearly you ducked a lot of fighters, yo. Again, you could have unified and showed the people, proved them wrong that you could have fought normal. Because that would have been a hell of a fight. People would have came out and see it. And all they was talking about is say, hey, pay me what you're supposed to pay me for us to come to your backyard. We don't have no problem. We'll come to your backyard. Just pay us what we're worth. We don't want to hear all that other stuff. Don't be trying to goddamn send us a damn IOU slip, a Groupon, a voucher. Hey, when you get through this fight, just go cash this voucher at a local 7-Eleven. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about it. You have to pay. You have to pay about $30 to cash this, but they weren't trying to do that. I mean, I agree, man. They shit on that fight over and over again. They shit on that fight over and over again, but then I'm asking myself, like, what do you really want to see in boxing? If we're up here twiddling our thumbs, Sebastian Fundora, Keith Thurman pulls out. If we're twiddling our thumbs, then what fight do you truly want to see? Because it's not much of a selection out there. We're talking about a guy that's been said that they're attempting to stamp him with the phenom label. A guy who's going to go up here and walk through the 154-pound division. A fighter who's going to do damage at 160. A fighter at 168. Okay, they're saying all these divisions, but hear you me. Clearly, hear you me. Once again, I do not despise Ennis at all. But the reason why I grade his boxing fight code, because he's overhyped. Not overhyped in a sense that he doesn't have the skill to get the hype tag. He's overhyped with what's above his shoulders. You know what I'm saying? His thought process, decision making, to basically take the risk, it's not there to me. I haven't seen it. For you to say he's going to be number one, he's going to be top half a pound, the fans need to get some excitement. When is the wind going to blow, Ennis? When are you going to step in there with some opposition that we can perk up by? Oh, let me change my posture on this. Oh, shit. Hold up now. Is that really, that's for real? That's true? Okay. Is it official, though? Is it not just on BoxRec? Is it flyer out? I mean, we're waiting for that moment to posture up and say, hey, this is what I've been talking about. Yeah, this is what I've been talking about. Now he's fighting somebody. You say you'll fight a Virgil Ortiz. He said that. He said he'll fight Virgil Ortiz, y'all. But he's in a sanctioning body. He's in a sanctioning body, y'all. That's not Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz is the interim champion in WBC. Ennis in the WBA. Okay? So, is there any way that someone is going to pay the toll to cross the bridge with Ennis and Virgil? This is not the unification, blase, we're looking for right here. I'm just being facetious. We're not looking for two interim champions to hype up. We're looking for Jaron Ennis to say, we're signed. We signed to fight Virgil Ortiz. I'm hearing scuttlebutt that Virgil Ortiz may potentially fight somebody else. I don't know. I'm hearing Ennis might fight Pacquaio. I'm not sure. I'm hearing. But that's my declaration as to why this guy has a poor freaking boxing fight goal for me. Because clearly he can box. But with that many fights, man, And the next 5 years is going to be very interesting for Boots, man. The next 5 years is going to be extremely interesting for him. Remember, I told you this, y'all. It's going to be extremely interesting to see how Jaron Ennis changes elevation. Right now, he's almost at a ground level of how boxing fans view him and want to see him fight next. How is the next 5 years would change his elevation? I'm curious to know how the next 5 years will change his elevation in the sport of boxing. I'm so curious about that. Can he do it? Does he have the right people around him to do it? Will he go in there and put on a performance like Virgil Ortiz did against Madrimon? I mean, that was an entertaining fight. That's an opponent that they continue to link up the Boots. But we don't see no paperwork. Shout out to my brother, Mr. Gumbo, AKA Hot Grease, in the building. What it do, Gumbo? How you feeling this morning, man? Hope all is well out there for you on them roads, man. And, you know, for every one of you that's in the chat, especially, you know, Haynes, I appreciate the combos, dog. You know what I'm saying? God bless you and your family as always. Thanks for the prayers. You know what I'm saying? Much respect, brother. Much respect to you. And that goes to everybody out there, too. It said, Boots is the best of the 154, but don't have a major belt. Wants to fight Ortiz. That's not a champion either. Make it make sense. Yeah, make that make sense, man. It doesn't, Gumbo. It doesn't make any sense, man. We want something to get us to change our facial expression. You know, something cheer us up a little bit. Boxing right now, it's a bit boring, so to speak. I don't know, you know, everything turns into an investigation. Fundora allegedly hurts his hand. Outside of Keith Thurman, usually is the injury-prone tricycle that just can't climb the hill. Now, you know, on the flip side of that, they say, well, the tickets wasn't selling. That's why. And I'm saying to myself, you're trying to tell me Fundora and Thurman can't sell tickets? I know you effing lying. They can sell some tickets, especially to the capacity for which I believe that was put out there for the seat capacity of that fight. Why wouldn't they be able to sell tickets? Why wouldn't they? Ennis is taking the easy route for sure. It's unfortunate, man. I have to put my boxing FICO there, Ennis. I have to put it down. I just rate Jaron Ennis as having a poor boxing FICO at the end of the day, because he is touted as the next best star. But if you want to talk about flash, where is it? Where's being user-friendly to the people? When are you going to connect? There's no connection with him. It's like using dial-up. A lot of you cats don't know what dial-up connection is because you was too young. You came when internet was in place. You wasn't doing too much crying because your parents shoved their phone in your face and said, here, figure out how to play that. But Boots in his career, it's like, for him to connect to us, it's like dial-up connection. It's like trying to talk and say you invented something new because you have 2 styrofoam cups and a rope in between, and you stand in the same room and say, hey, test it. Hey, can you hear me? Yeah, you clear. Just like the real thing. Okay. What if we take it out 200 yards? You think, oh man, we can do 200 yards. We're gonna be inventors, yo. Oh man, we're gonna be rich. Okay, let's spin it out 200 yards. Hello, testing. You hear me? Hello? It's not gonna work. Ennis in between fights don't say nothing to us, yo. And then when he does an interview, it's straight up biased. It's the same thing over and over again. And then he says he's going to do so much. But if we look at Jaron Ennis' last several opponents, right? Lima, Stantionis, Chukazagan, Avanesian, Villa, and Chukazagan again. All right, forget Custio Clay. That's from January 2023, all the way up to October 2025. Those are his names: Lima, Stantionis, Karen, David Avanesian, Ramon Villa, Karen Chukazagan. That's it right there. There's no need to go to Custio Clay or Thomas Delorme. When Boots fought Thomas Delorme, he was coming off a couple of L's. All right. This Boots resume is mediocre. Mediocre, yo. Absolutely mediocre. If you want to talk about comparing a highlight fight that you'll watch on here, comparable to Brian Norman's Santion fight, Brian Norman's Jen Sasaki fight, it's there. You're not going to find them. They won't be located. It doesn't matter if you request a search and rescue team. You won't find it. They're not going to say his knockout of Stantion is more entertaining than Santillion. They're not going to tell you that. Jahad Tucker, where? Where's all this there excitement, this flash and flare and all that? I don't see it on his resume. Yo. Let me show you the people. Let me show you the people. Take a look at this. Ennis has 36 professional fights, yo. Look at his resume. Lima, Stantionis, Chukazagan, Avanesian, Villa. Chukazagan, that's it. If you go below that, you got Clayton, Delorme. Look at this. You think I'm lying? Look at this, yo. Look at this when Ennis fought him. He was coming off 2 L's. Jamal James beat him. Stantionis beat him. And Ennis went up there and scooped him up. Come on, yo. Virgil Ortiz knocked him out in the first round too, man. Come on, this is crazy. Van Heeren, no contest because of a headbutt. We all remember that. Just go down. This resume is subpar. And, you know, I hope he really cleans it up. I'm not dogging him out, you know, personally. It's boxing. I just believe myself. I just believe what I'm looking at. It's gonna take quite a reconstruction phase for them to get Boots locked in with the fans. How do we get locked in with Team Ennis and him as a fighter? I would watch a Cool Boy Steph fight before I watch an Ennis. I watch an Andy Cruz fight before I watch an Ennis. I will. I haven't seen a fight yet that I really want to turn on and say, let me go back and watch this fight over again. I ain't say kudos to you, my boy. I better not ever hear anything boxing den commentator or content creator speak of boxing Pacquaio going without WCS mention. I appreciate you, bro. You know how they get, though. They don't want to mention your name. They don't want to give you credit. Hit the like, spread the content. I appreciate you, man. One love to you. Who knows you? I've been better than I ever hear any boxing commentator or county using boxing fight code. Doc uses C's. I never want to hear any. Sorry, I'm grinding, trying to use the audio translator. Okay, I got you. Shout out to Rush in the building. He has less fights. Put it just like in the heavyweight with Moses Altuma. Like Boots, he hasn't beat anybody, but looks worse for Jaron at 33 fights compared to Moses' 13 fights. Jaron needs better results. I concur. I can concur with that. As a boxer, with the expectation. That's all I'm saying, Rush. His rule of expectation measures higher than the average fighter. He does, yo. He is Boots. People were loving his hand. Boots. At one point in time, they was hoping him and Errol Spence get it. They dropped from the WBO to the IBF before the undisputed fight took place. They guessed wrong, man. They hopped over there impulsively. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. They guessed wrong, yo. They guessed wrong. And it just goes to show you that they would have wanted the Spence fight, which was a better style for Ennis fighting Spence than it would have been Crawford. Well, here's a message I want to put out there to those naysayers still. When you say that Ennis will still beat Crawford, when you continue to try to say, based off the performance he had with Canelo Alvarez, having having a 12-month window, right, to properly prepare himself for Canelo, 2 weight divisions higher, would you dare say that this man age plays a significant role after what you've seen him do? His execution, his IQ, foot movement, speed. It was just so nasty. But yet you still have people up here saying that Ennis will walk through Crawford, and just like anything else, I haven't seen Ennis implement or exercise boxing IQ on the level of a Terrence Crawford because your opposition hasn't attended your fights. Allow an opposition of that caliber, high caliber, respectable caliber, to be a 50-50 fight. Then WCS to say, well, you know, I seen him go in there and fight that fighter right there. I cannot question his IQ right now. Okay, you can stunt and dance all day long and be in rhythm with mediocre competition. I won't tell these boxing fans that's hyping, you know, Ennis up anything they haven't heard. I mean, we heard this. We've been here, done that already, yo. We've been here. We've been here. We heard it all before. The Ennis is the next. But what we do understand, if we want to line them up face to face, if we want to go back in time what Crawford wasn't dealing with the media and how people say how it affected his career and his brand and him expanding that to get a wider lens of exposure based off Ennis, who he could be in the media a bit more, but every time he come out to the media, he pretty much say the same thing and sound like he's mumbling and all that. Yeah, he can call out whoever he wants to. But like WCS said, I would rather suggest you all help that man get some PR training. If you really want him to blow the top, knock out the ceiling, jump outside the bubble, help him step outside the cubicle space he in. Help him breach that small compressed space when it comes to media. He say the same thing all the time when he pops out for a fight. How are we supposed to know anything else about Ennis when he's uncomfortable with answering questions from other media outside of YSM Sports. He has to get comfortable with answering the tough questions. You can't give short and edgy answers all because you're outside your comfort zone. What's going to happen when Ennis has to face a top elite, a fighter that's considered 50% equity, both of them 50-50 going into a fight? How is he going to handle that leaving outside of Philly? He's going to go and run it up to 40 in the backyard of Philly and say, hey, I'm giving the Philly fight fans what they want. That's what I'm doing, giving Philly fight fans what they want. No, man, you're just making money off the people and running up the score. That's all I see. These next 3 fights should at least be all 50-50 fights. Or 2/3. Or 2/3. Let's go with 2/3. AB said 36 fights recorded and no standout fights. That's crazy. It is, man. It's insanely crazy how there's a skeleton crew of stars, especially black stars, where people are trying their best to get behind boots, but yet they always talking about, let's keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real. Go ahead and continue to keep it real. But that shit's a little stale though. I can present to you a potato chip, a Lay's chip. It can be a real chip. But what you don't know, that shit's stale as hell because it's been sitting out for a long time. From afar, it may look the part. But goddamn, when you get close enough to think, oh man, let me go ahead and goddamn grab a chip out this bag because that one look like it's been out there long. And find out the whole bag is stale. That's what I see about Boots fans, man. Boots fans is just out here going along with the flow, willing and able to say, you know what, it's not that bad. He's going to improve. Dude was talking about, hey, man, I guess I got to move up to 154 because this is what it is. I mean, you know, when you get the calling spiritually, when you see the light, you know, and you feel that breeze on your face, you know it's time to move up. All of a sudden, he want to move up, but yeah, he going to stay. He going to move up, he going to stay. I mean, which one is it, man? You said the reason you couldn't get up for a competition. Ain't that what Boots said? Boots said it's hard for him to get up to a competition of a Karen. But clearly, Karen is better than Luis Molina. So if you was able to come in there and stop Lima, that proves that once again, you're not being honest. Because you got up for Lima. Even though it was a little sloppy to me, you got up for Lima, but you said you went the distance with Karen and you couldn't get up for the competition. It's hard. So that means we should see a new, improved, refreshed Ennis when it comes to this freaking next fight, when these next 2 fights. How many times he gonna fight a year, y'all? And we're gonna see him with top elite competition twice a year at least. Is anybody out there saying that they'll watch a Jaron Ennis fight before they watch a Tank fight? Hell no. Hell no. Like I told you before, I said we boycott Boots until the fight someone we want to see him fight. I hear you. I hear you, man. But, you know, you have to understand that certain people will speak on the protest, but will they actually show up to protest? Dan on deck, what's good? Salute to you, bro. We all know about the hocus pocus of boxing, but dang, Boots put a spell on me. I don't know who he's fooling out here. Nasty work. I like that. And you know, he is casting a spell on him. He keep pretending that he's going to fight somebody of notoriety. And it just doesn't go down like that. It's reduced. You know what I'm saying? They're giving you the low appraisal opponents. The opponents has just been sitting around And then, ta-da! You have Ennis Lima. Yes, he's never fought in the U.S. before, but he's going to be a fresh face to the scene of boxing. Therefore, he can have a breakout performance like who? Josh Patley. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Come on, somebody tell me that ain't true, man. Was he supposed to come over here? Lights, camera, action. Sparkles from the disco ball. And we was introduced to a Lima. He was supposed to go in there and give Boots a tough workout. He was supposed to make it competitive. Not. Jaron Ennis should also start fighting in different states. He already has a loyal fan base in Philly. Start fighting in New York, Chicago, Detroit. Visit different East Coast states and outside of comfort. Absolutely facts, dog. Talk to them, man. This man, put the mic down. Come on, man. The hottest chat in the MF game, man. No negotiation needed. Y'all on fire on a Tuesday. The chat's going up on a Tuesday. Come on, man. Somebody get this word to Team Ennis that all we want for him is to start fighting the opposition, to start living up to all the hype and the status quo that they're giving him as an elite fighter. They're putting you at the top of the food chain, bro. But it's almost like you getting a VIP pass in boxing instead of actually earning it based off your resume. When are the achievements going to start to audition the conversational piece that so many people debating about you potentially being a pound for pound fighter? No way, no how. Your paperwork, it ain't official, y'all. Jaron Ennis' paperwork isn't official. But Rush, that was a fact, man. That paperwork isn't official. When is he gonna get the paperwork? Until you get the paperwork, man, I cannot pre-approve you for a credit increase because it is undeserved. Lima has kept you in the red. Lima has kept you in the red, bro. And look. You got some delinquencies on there too. Because if we was expecting competition like Virgil Ortiz, Mertis Alayev, Xander Zayas, you know what I'm saying? Sebastian Fundora, all those was delinquencies. Really the Virgil Ortiz delinquencies. You didn't want to fight him when the offer was sent out. You had other plans. You need to tune up. You need your wiper fluid change, oil, transmission. You know what I'm saying? You need the windshield cleaned off. All that. You didn't need no gas because you was at home. And just like Rush said, it would be great to see Jaron Ennis fight outside the bubble of Philly. Philly is certified, man. Philly don't deserve this. I say it over and I say it again. Philly fight fans do not deserve what Jaron Ennis has been serving them on a cold spoon. They don't deserve that. Philly fight fans deserve way more than what Ennis has been serving them up. For real. (918) in the building. Salute to you, man. I hope that picture with him and Canelo don't be the highlight of his career. I like to shuffle another cards like that. I see where you at with it. I see where you at with it. Good point. I hope it's not the highlight of his career either. But guess what, 918, man? He wanted to selectively choose that shit. They wanted to go out there and help out. They wanted to be a willing participant, yo. He felt that he lived vicariously through Canelo Alvarez and helped him out with sparring, even though WCS made mention that no matter what Ennis, the choreography, the remediation, the drills, there's no way that Ennis could help Canelo replicate Terrence Bud Crawford, because simply the IQ are not in the same curriculum. The IQ isn't equal. You can go through drill after drill after drill. That ain't Terrence Crawford. You can just get you can get plenty of black fighters if you need the visual to go in there and emulate and switch hit. Come on, it's boxing at the end of the day. But to go in there and think that allow Ennis to remediate certain, it seems like Ennis was trying to live out a fantasy. You know what I'm saying? If I'm able to go in there and assist with Canelo, and then Canelo go in there and get the win, it's a partial victory for Ennis too. I mean, look, they're desperately trying to catapult Ennis into the spotlight by any means necessary. Do you understand, based off him taking that picture with Canelo, helping him out with sparring, and to see Canelo go in there and get his ass beat the way he did, do you know it will make any man upset like Ennis? Hey, champ, I need you out to look at the fight. Canelo Crawford? Nah, I don't like that shit right there. I don't like that shit right there. I wasn't even at home at the crib. I was out on the street. You know what I'm saying? So you didn't see the fight at the show? Wow, nobody was showing it in Philly. Nobody was showing it in Philly because, he's banned. You know what I'm saying? He's banned. They can't show his fights in Philly. I didn't even know to be honest, I didn't even know he was fighting tonight. Oh, you didn't know he was fighting Saturday? Nah. They didn't tell you that, when you went to help him spar. Oh, see that right there, that was different. Even though I went in there for sparring, I still didn't see a contract, so I didn't know what day it was fighting. So watching sports, he didn't, make mention of it when he was doing the interview. I spoke to Jamil the other day. I didn't hear him mention anything about it. To be honest with you, I couldn't remember because I had some hard work. I'm always in the gym working hard. The headgear was a little loose. I don't know, man. Ennis cannot convince us he's not one of those haters, man. Like, if you want to be a superstar, this is the perfect time to do it. Crawford is on his way out the building. But let's be clear with one another. Ennis, let's be clear. I totally agree. You should be stepping outside the parameters of Philly, that comfort zone of yours. Step outside. Give other fight fans that exposure, man. Allow them, bless them with your presence in their city. What's going to happen when you really go out there to the big stage and it's against a top tier opposition like yourself? How are you going to perform, bro? Man, you have to understand, it's right now. Crawford is on his way out amongst other fighters. Canelo, all of them cats. They on their way out. Thurman. They on their way out. This is the opportune time for you to propel yourself up to a higher level if you want to talk about the community of pound for pound fighters, 1 through 10. This is the opportune time. Now, let me show you something right quick, y'all. Let me show you the madness. So, okay, let me show you the madness. All right. I want you to see something on the Tuesday. Okay. Let me share this right quick for the people. Drop this. I know we don't visit this this area particularly, but I am today. I want you to gaze. Okay, this is the box rate pound for pound. Look at this. Look at this. Now I have to bring into question. I don't know if they had a bad batch of some type of recreational chemical that influenced the mind. But look at this now. They have in a way, number one, Nakatani 2, Crawford 3, right? Ennis 4 on the pound for pound, Alvarez 5, Shakur Stevenson 6, Dimitri Bivol 7, Benavidez 8, Beterbiev 9, and Tank zipping it up on the backside of the top 10. Now, what I don't want you to do is think that this is our main go-to when it comes to the pound for pound. But what I'm going to do is, everybody has the right to dream. But when you look at a list like this, thank God that there's not a lot of casuals out there that take this shit serious. There's no way. There's no way we're going to take this box break serious. So I just want you to see it. Look at this. This is box rest pound for pound. Now, my reasoning for bringing this up is that this is as close as Ennis will ever get to Crawford on a pound for pound list. Unfortunately, this list is part fantasy. Somebody was compensated very well, and they went out there and snuck into the database, and they created and drafted up this list. I think it was somewhere in the Orient, the Far East. For real. For real. It couldn't have been over here. But this is as close as Ennis and his team. I think they show him. He probably has this blown up on his wall, and Eddie's like, see, Boots, look at this. This is right. This is what I'm talking about. They now see you as number 4, just like Errol Spence used to be. You know what I mean? That's what Eddie Hearns is telling Boots. He's in the same position that Errol Spence was for years. This is a good look, buddy. This is a good look. Absolutely. Because before July 29th, 2023, Errol Spence was right next to Bud on the pound for pound list for a minute. Now we have box break trying to emulate and put Ennis next to Crawford. Based off what again? Based off what again? Can somebody explain to me based off what again? How can he be that close to Crawford? I just wanted to show you that. I can't have that up there too long. I just want to let you see what it is. Okay? Now, let's go over here. Let me share screen. Okay. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Okay, here go the ring. Okay, pound for pound number one. Now, of course, we have some qualified individuals that's seeing it for what it is. This is the men's pound for pound via the ring mag. Number one pound for pound, obviously, clearly. You know what I'm saying? You have the rehab center over there, Box Rec, and then you have the professor. You have, you know, a institution of higher learning. You feel me? Then you have number two, Olisana Usyk, rightfully so. And then, you know, from three on down, you have Inoue, four Bibble, five Beterbiev, six Rodriguez, and seven Nakatani. Okay, Nakatani somehow, some way was up number two on the box rate pound for pound. And then you have number 8, Shakur Stevenson, number 9, David Benavidez, and 10, Saul Alvarez. To me, you know, that's not too far off. But I want to remind you again, those that's in the hot, this right now in the hottest chat in the method game. Check this out. And I said this before. If you're looking at the ring, okay? If you're looking at this ring, understand something. I've mentioned this previously, that Terrence Crawford is on his way out. And look how many black fighters aren't on the list. Okay? I know every list is going to vary. Shakur Stevenson, black Puerto Rican, but still we consider him a brother. Remove Shakur Stevenson and Terrence Crawford. Where are the black fighters at? I talked about this months ago, that these black fighters need to find a way. Boots need to do more. If they're touting you as being that next, well, you have to do more, in my opinion. You have to do more with your PR work. You have to engage with media a bit more, all that. Because what you have going on right now and how we continue to hit the, you know, the mute button when you're doing interviews and then a press conference, it's terrible, bro. It's terrible. MKB in the building. I see you. What's good, man? Salute. Boots the Philly cheesesteak champion. Hey man, he got an interim. I ain't mad at him for the interim. I just don't like it, you know. These Boots fans are really mad we're holding him accountable. Hey, we need to hold him accountable just like they was holding Crawford accountable for every single thing. You know, Errol Spence could beat everybody and do this, that, and that. And he put butts in seats. You know, all the hula and halo. Oh, he's moving funny. Errol Spence, he's selling tickets. Mikey Garcia, 350, 60, 70,000, 80, 90. The same shit. Could be wrong, but next fight might be the WBA champion. That fight to me, yes, the champion is a no name, but he has a belt. So it's more understandable how he benefits versus Lehman, who had irrelevant IBO belt. Like I said, man, I'm not tripping at all if Boots fight this dude that's a new face. I don't mind, because that's how boxing works. Are they going to overpay this dude? Is this dude going to come to Philly for a championship fight again? Are he going to bring a championship fight to Philly? Is he? I mean, you know, Crawford, that's one thing he wasn't scared of. Crawford will fight in Omaha for a championship fight. But is that fight going to be in Philly too? Or are you going to step outside? Yeah, it is blasphemy, huh? Shout out to you, MKB. What's good? What's good? The box record is like Wikipedia. People can go in there and change it all around. It's a weird system. I don't know if they can mix with the box record, but whoever was doing that, clearly they need that Errol Spence surgery because they can't see a damn thing. I think Jake Paul would be a better promoter and promotion for Jaron Ennis to sign with. He would be fighting on Netflix, and to me, the zone isn't nearly as big as Netflix. Solid point, man. That's a solid point. To me, is it who he signed with or who he doesn't want to fight? I think Eddie can only do so much. I'm assuming that conversation behind the scenes has been had, and I think I definitely know Boots can take, accountability also for not fighting the top names. They're tiptoeing him through these freaking belts. How do you say he's going to be a superstar or a top pound for pound guy, and you're not even putting him out there? Like, it's the same thing. He want to wear a hat back, like he's doing a goddamn Will Smith freaking reboot, like it's a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I mean, come on, man. I know, you know what I'm saying? I know that's an old show, man, but every time I see him with a hat on like that, I'm like, damn, he think this a reboot of Fresh Prince with his hat to the side and shit. Like, dude, we're waiting on you to step in there with a worthy, credible opponent. We haven't seen that yet. We haven't seen that, man. That's all I'm saying. We haven't seen it. I'm still waiting. I'm disappointed. A lot of other people disappointed. And it continues to be that way. Nick Ball versus Brandon Figueroa ordered by the WBA. I like that. I like Nick Ball versus Brandon Figueroa, but I just have to keep it on Boots, man. I hope that you and your people get it together, because in the future we want to see your itinerary. Of course, the next two fights of yours, we want to see them on your itinerary where they make sense. We want to see where they make sense enough so we can really ramp up the boxing talk. Put some live streams together. Feel upbeat about talking about something that, belief is everything. And the fans just don't believe just yet. Oops, that's all I'm saying. The fans don't believe you who they're labeling you to be. You got mad skills when you're on your own. And then we have to basically use the face card, flip it over and say, who's his opposition? Then we factor in your opposition, wager that with your performance value, and it still comes out with a lower appraising value, minimal equity, because your opponent never should have been in there with you to begin with. Never should have been in there. He's not Lima was not on your level. Never. He's never, I don't care what he never should have been in there with. But we're going to see if he's able to go in there. And for those of you that continue to say that he's going to go in there and dominate Virgil Ortiz because Virgil's been down against Boychuk, man, come on, stop it. Stop it, yo. It might be the other way around. Come on, Virgil and Jaron both have entertaining fighting styles when they let their hands go. But one thing for sure, and a whole lot of other shit for certain, is that Virgil Ortiz, his entertainment value once the bell ring, no. Yeah, I give the edge to Virgil. I do. I give the edge to Virgil, man. When the bell ring, I know Virgil is going to go in there with the game plan, and he's going to continue to shift gears throughout the bout. He's going to continue to shift gears, switch it up, not afraid to take risks. That's what I see, yo. That's what I see. But big shout out to the hottest chat in the MFN game, man. Appreciate y'all as always. Okay, enjoy your Tuesday. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.